Hey!
Hey, I'm CJ,
And I'm Robin.
and welcome to the Cozy Kitchen.
Come and make yourself comfortable here with us by the fire.
Let's chat about baking, friendship, and cozy hobbies. And if there's time and enough tea, maybe we'll even unravel some traumatic backstories.
I mean, there should always be enough tea.
Yes.
Hello!
Hello. Hey, Robin.
Hi, CJ. How's it going?
Good. I'm back with a mic.
Woo! Hooray! I know you've been traveling a little bit since we last talked, and that brings us right to the topic of what we're going to talk about today because there are a lot of really great bakes in a lot of different cities. So let's kind of kick this off by talking about where all you have traveled and what bakes you have found and which ones you really enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, the traveling thing was really only a recent phenomenon. I have spent the first 4 decades of my life in Silicon Valley. So we'll start there. So in the Bay Area, as we call it, I would say I think the one that I think of the most often, like when you asked about local bakes, the one that popped into my head was Tartine in San Francisco. I don't know, have you heard of that one?
Ooh. Yeah, I have heard of them, and the reason why is because I think either you or one of our coworkers gave me the tartine cookbook. And I have it. It's in my kitchen. It's a beautiful book, and they've got so many amazing recipes in there. But I've actually never been inside. I've never actually tried their bakes before, other than just like looking through the cookbook. So pray tell, what do they have?
Oh, wow. Well, they are first and foremost known for their bread. And
Ooh.
that was the book that first cracked sourdough for me.
Oh, cool.
When I read that book and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to try making sourdough this method," that was when I finally was able to create a sourdough that was just beautiful from your average home oven, which is just
Whoa.
such a rare thing. I didn't know even it was even possible. So they're
Yeah.
known for that initially, but then they branched out into desserts. So they've got your standard croissants, your coffee cakes. I think their coffee cakes is really well known.
Mhm.
Um, just everything about that bakery is just like top notch, high quality. And so I've been to a few of them. They actually have ones. Oh gosh, I feel like Tartine, they have a branch in Seoul, Korea.
No
The weirdest,
kidding.
yes. I remember being in Seoul, and it was like the basement of some department store. It's like, Tartine is here? That's
Mhm.
an SF thing. But they're so
Yeah.
famous that I think they have gone global.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Good for them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me at all that you said they do a lot of stuff with sourdough because I feel like that's very popular in the Bay Area. And there are a lot of really great places out there like Ghirardelli Square or just all throughout the Bay Area that there's a lot of really great places to get sourdough. So that doesn't surprise me. I actually have a question
Mhm.
based off of something that you said. You mentioned that they have very high quality bakes. What to you makes a bake high quality? What is like what do you look for like whenever you see something and you're like, "Oh, that's a high quality bake." What
Mhm.
does that mean to you?
So it depends on what we're looking at. If it's like a more of a dessert, like breakfast bake, then I would look for how sweet it is. The very first thing. If it's like overly sweet, then it's compensating for something. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's not allowing the other ingredients to really speak for itself, and you're just using sugar as a crutch.
Yeah, yes, that's a great point. That like you wanna let all the ingredients kind of do their own thing and shine in their own way. I love that.
Yeah. And then the second thing would be technique. So, how well they execute the process of making each one of these bakes. So, if it's a
Mhm.
croissant, then I want to see the rise, the sheen on the outside when you cut it, like the crispy layers, and then just like inside the bubbles that form. Same with bread. Like I want to
Yes.
see a rustic loaf with a good rise and a good crumb. And so I look for technique as well.
Okay, I love that. I feel like whenever you know the technique, it's almost like you've respected the craft enough to understand the science of it, to really get into the nitty-gritty of like, how do you achieve this very specific outcome? And I feel like that is such a great barometer. And that's probably why in a lot of baking shows, they have a technical challenge, like in the Great British Baking Show they'll have challenges that specifically focus on bakes that require a specific technique in order to get them just right.
Yeah, so what's your local bake that you're just like loving now?
Well, I've got a couple, but right now where we are, we're about an hour north of Denver. And you mentioning the croissants actually made me realize that there are two out here that I want to make a shout out to. So we met my partner's friend for ramen a couple weekends ago, and she brought us a bag of croissants, and they were from a place called Black Box Bakery that is based in Denver. And I don't know if you've ever seen them advertised or anything, but they make croissants like it is nobody's business. They are beautiful. They are very experimental with their flavors, and their croissants are a very like true to their name, they are shaped like boxes. They're like cube shaped. Um,
Oh,
and
cool.
they're very, very good. So definitely would recommend them if you are ever in the Denver area.
Mhm.
But if you are a little far away from Denver, like we are, there is a place called the Little Bird Bake Shop. And it is about like a 10, maybe 12-minute drive away from us, and they make I believe they make a lot of their bakes in-house, and they just have such a wonderful seasonality to what they offer. And there are things that are there all year round. You know, they always have this really delicious whole wheat bread, and they smear on some ricotta and some homemade jam. So like that's always available, but they really do attune their menu to what's in season. And I
Mhm.
think going back to the high quality point, that also to me is high quality. Whenever you have bakes that include the fruits or the vegetables, whatever's in season, and they really play up that part of it. So yeah, I've been really enjoying the Little Bird Bake Shop out here. They've got a lot of really good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, and so you've actually lived in quite a few places in the States.
Yep.
So I'm kind of curious, like what other local bakes that you really enjoyed in the various parts that you've lived?
Yeah, yeah. So we started out in Pennsylvania, and then we moved to the Bay Area, which is where you and I met. And then we moved back to the East Coast where we lived in North Carolina for a while. And now we're in Colorado, and it is every bit as exhausting as it sounds. I do not recommend back and forth cross country moves within such a short span of time. But I feel very lucky that I've gotten to live in so many places and I've gotten to try so many different bakes. Um, but I guess working sort of backwards, the last place that we lived in Durham was there was a really wonderful place called Gugelhof, and it is a German bakery. And
Mm.
so they have a lot of really delicious, like all honestly, like it is German, but it's like it's all kinds of bakes. They've got all kinds of
Mm.
breads, they've got croissants, they've got different kinds of cookies. And my friends and I used to go there every once in a while. That was another bakery that really took the seasonality into account. So there would be certain things
Mm.
that they would have like for the holiday season. There would be certain things they'd have for more summertime bakes. And so we would just go and we would get some good stuff there. So yeah, definitely recommend Google Hof. And then you covered the Bay Area pretty well. And we can always go back there because there might be others that we haven't talked about yet.
Well, I'm
Um,
kinda curious, like, what you liked in the
yeah,
Bay Area.
in the Bay Area, oh gosh. It's not strictly a bakery, but there was this one Greek restaurant that was on the street where it was very close to our office building,
Mm.
and I was actually able to walk from our dorm at Stanford, and I was able to walk to our office, and so I would pass by this Greek restaurant all the time,
Mhm.
and one day I walked in and I ordered some takeout, and I noticed they had baklava, and baklava is one of my absolute favorite desserts of all time, hands down. Um,
Really? Huh.
it is, it's so good. Like, when it's done right, oh my gosh, I love biting into the flaky layers, and it's just and, like, the bottom layers are just soaked in this lovely, like, sugary honey mixture, and then you've got the nuts that are in the middle and just
Mhm.
oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. And this Greek place, I will never forget it. I went in and I got a takeout, and at the last minute saw they had baklava, and I was like, "Oh, that looks really good. Could I also include a couple pieces to go?" And they put a couple pieces in my order, and they gave me a little piece for free. And I was
Oh.
like, "If there is if if there is a way to make friends with me, just give me a piece of baklava." It doesn't even have to be a big piece. You
Wow.
could just
That's
yeah, and it was actually, that's not the first time that's happened. There was also a place in Durham
uh-huh.
where I went to is this, and this was more of like a grocery
Mhm.
store. It might have been it might have been Turkish. I
Mhm.
don't 100% remember, and I feel so bad,
Uh-huh.
but I went in and I saw they had baklava, and I got, like, a buttload of baklava, and then they gave me a piece for free. So, if you want a repeat customer, doesn't matter what you're selling, it could be batteries, it could be
Just give you baklava.
I will keep coming back.
Wow, wow. You know, it's interesting. I've never enjoyed baklava. Like, here in the Bay
Really?
Area, yeah, I've just, like baklava, I've always found the way they make it, I've found it to be too sweet for my taste. I've never found a
Mhm.
place here in the Bay Area where I liked their baklava. It was
Yeah.
only until I went to Dubai, where I spent a
Mhm.
year, that there was this one dessert place, I think it was like a Turkish kind of patisserie, but it's all Turkish, sweets, and
Mhm.
I had Turkish coffee there and everything, and I had their baklava, and oh my god, I fell in love.
Okay,
Uh, from
describe it. I need to see, and let me live vicariously through this experience.
So I remember their logo. I think they're a pretty big brand actually. So the guy's like wearing this little hat with a little tassel on top and everything, and they've been around for a long time. And like the baklava was just not very sweet at all,
Mhm.
and just so crispy. Like it wasn't just the
Oh.
top layers that were crispy, but the insides were like also like more fresh. I find that in the Middle East, if we're talking about nuts or dates,
Mhm.
the stuff there and spices, the stuff there are just so much fresher. And it was just not as sweet, and you can taste the rose water. It was just
Ooh.
oh my god, like, I was like, if this had been served to me, I would have been like, "Hell yes."
See, that makes so much sense based off of what I know about you, though, because you don't necessarily gravitate to the super mega sweet stuff. Like, that's just not your preference. And from what I've tasted of baklava, the stuff that I've had is very, very, very sweet. And I think that having the flaky pastry and also the nuts, for me, that helps offset a lot of that.
Mhm,
But sugar syrup is sugar syrup, no matter how like, what all you have going on in there. That is just going to be sweet. There is nothing you can really do with that. But that sounds like just the most wonderful experience, especially with the freshness of all of the ingredients. Like, I do wonder, I'm sure that the people who own these bakeries and everything, I'm sure that they replicate what they can to the best of their abilities,
mhm,
and I have no doubt that it is absolutely delicious. There is just a part of me that does wonder, like with any other cuisine, how different it is whenever you go to those places where the spices are grown there and the produce is grown there, and it doesn't have to be frozen, it doesn't have to be shipped to you.
Yeah.
Because there's gotta be some difference, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I think so. And this is getting off track, but just in general, I find that if you have the food from that location, if you went to India, like when I went to India, like the food there compared to the Indian food here in the States is
Mhm.
just massively different. Like you could taste the freshness. You just really have to go to these places. Like I went to Malaysia as well, and you go there and like the food is just so much better than the Malaysian food here, and like the people who have restaurants here or bakeries here, I'm sure they're working their best here
Mhm.
with what they are given.
Mhm.
But if you want the real taste, definitely go to those locations to experience it. It's yeah, it is just by far like the best is where it comes from.
Yeah, and I don't wanna steer us too far off track, but it does make me think of this one really great news article. I think it was in the New York Times, and it was written by this amazing chef. Her name is Priya, I'm forgetting her last name, but she was on America's Test Kitchen, I believe, and she's made a lot of really amazing recipes throughout the years, and she came out with a cookbook that is called Indian-ish, and I've used it a couple of times now to try and recreate some Indian dishes because I didn't grow up with Indian food at all. Like we had Italian, we had some German, we had some Tex-Mex, and that was the extent. Indian cuisine was entirely new to me until I was about 24, 25 when I got to live in the Bay Area,
Mhm.
and you just don't, at least in our corner of Pennsylvania, you don't really get a whole lot of it. And in her cookbook, she was saying that she did purposefully substitute specific ingredients, knowing that it was not going to give a lot of people the full experience, but also acknowledging that when you live in certain places in the US, you just are not going to have access to specific ingredients. You might not have a place that sells paneer that is anywhere remotely close to you. You
Yeah.
might not have all of the spices and all of the everything that you need to recreate these dishes. And like you're saying, like even if you do have these spices, it's still different from actually going to that place and experiencing that cuisine. Firsthand is not the term, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, yes, definitely know what you're saying. So, like, in Pittsburgh, like, what was your local bake that you guys liked going to?
So,
Or
Pittsburgh's
not
got a
Pittsburgh,
lot of.
you're part of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's so
Mhm.
technically Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's what I tell people who are not familiar with our corner of Pennsylvania because
Mhm,
Pittsburgh is just the biggest name that people are going to recognize. But there are a couple places. First off, there is a place called Delalo's, and it is an Italian, it's honestly more of an Italian grocery store, but
mhm,
they have a lot of really, really excellent baked goods there. They've got the cannolis, they've got the Italian rainbow cookies around Christmas time.
mhm,
They have a lot of really delicious, like flaky, creamy kinds of delicious pastries. So we love going to Delalo's. A little pricey, but I think it's worth it. Their selection is incredible. And then in our corner, it's called Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And just to give some background, Greensburg is a smallish town. It's about an hour south of Pittsburgh, and it is doing better economically than it once was, but it's still not quite recovered from whenever it was in its heyday. And I think that after the depression, it was one of those places that never 100% recovered.
mhm,
But there are a lot of really wonderful businesses there right now, and one of them is called the White Rabbit Cafe, and that one, when you talk about high quality bakes, they really have some good stuff there. They've got all kinds of really good stuff along with coffees, and they really do go above and beyond to make sure that everything they make
mhm,
genuinely looks really, really good. So, like, they've got, like, macarons, they've got croissants, they've
mhm,
got danishes, and I'm very sad that, so they opened not very long before we left to go to California, so
mhm,
I didn't really get a whole lot of a chance to eat a lot there, but
Mhm.
the times that I went, I really enjoyed it, and
Mm.
they're going strong. They've been there for quite a while now, so yeah,
When you
if
go
you're
back,
ever
do you ever get it?
no, because I don't have time to do anything when I go back home. It's that's the fun part about having parents who are divorced and you have to spend time traveling from one to the other.
Ah, I see.
But my friends and I, whenever I go back, we'll either go there or we'll go to a place called the cat, I think it's like the Caffeinated Cafe, and it's a
Oh,
kitty cafe, and they've
okay.
got all kinds of drinks, and then you can go and look at all the kitties in the window, and they're
Aw.
so cute.
That's
So
cute.
yeah, but if you're ever in Greensburg, that's the place to be. But I would love to hear more, CJ, about what else in the Bay Area, what other local bakes have you tried either lately or like are there any that stick out in your memory that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, so there's 2 in the Bay Area that I think of. The other one is more in the South Bay, which I kind of grew up in, and
Mhm.
it's called Alexander's Patisserie, and
Mm.
originally they were a steakhouse.
Mhm.
It's so funny, like, they were, like,
Wow.
a very high-end steakhouse, and somehow they branched out into doing a whole, like, dessert place, a patisserie, like, their desserts were so good that they
Mhm.
decided to make their own branch of patisserie, and they have separate locations all over.
So are they
Um
still a steakhouse or are they like a
you know,
joint like
it's funny because I was just looking them up, and I think their steakhouse is closed? I'm not sure, I saw
wow.
but they I think their patisserie has done better perhaps? Like, cause the
So they
steakhouse was very
pivoted.
high-end. Yeah, I know. It was very high-end, and their patisserie is actually also very high quality, as I said, but it's a different style than tartine. Tartine is more rustic.
Okay.
They don't focus too much on, like, the aesthetic of the desserts,
Mhm.
and the desserts at Alexander's is more, like, dainty. They're very colorful, like, almost whimsical, like, you'll have maybe, like, a mango mousse, but it's, like, the sphere that's, like, a bright
Ooh.
orange, like, it looks like an orange, but it's perfectly sphere or something.
Oh, that
Yeah,
sounds
so it's
really
very
pretty.
different from the tartine.
Mhm.
And it reminds me actually of the 3rd one, the honorable mention, I would say. It's a different style of bakery, but it's very famous in Asia. It's called Paris Baguette, and it's a
Ooh.
Korean branch, and that one does all sorts of Asian desserts. So you'll find, like, the red bean stuffed buns, um
Yes.
You'll find the standard, like, croissants and stuff, like Danishes, breakfast bakes, but then also, like, Asian-styled, like, cakes, and it's often not buttercream, but whipped cream. So
Oh, wow.
and they do some seasonal stuff too, more in the line of, like, holiday seasons. So, like, Christmas, you'll have the Christmas cakes and, like, all the various holidays.
Mhm.
So, that one, you know, if you want to experience Asian bakeries, that one would be a good one to go to.
That's awesome. And do they use a whole lot of fruit in their bakes, or does it kind of depend on, like you said, like the seasonality, or does it depend on like the time of year?
Probably the time of year. So they would have like often for Christmas, this was made famous by Japanese bakeries. They would make Christmas cake and it always had to have ichigo, which is strawberry.
Strawberries.
Yes, so it's like
Yep.
almost like a strawberry shortcake, but it's like a strawberry cake and that comes every Christmas.
Ooh. Oh man, that sounds so good. We need to go to Japan one day.
Yes, we definitely do. Um,
Yes. I'm a weeb. I love anime and manga, and I've loved it since the 90s. And also I think that Japan, outside of the arts that have become very popular over in America, I feel like Japan itself is just a very beautiful place. And I've love watching people on YouTube who live there, and I just like I don't know, it seems like such a different way of life.
Mhm.
Also, I'm so sorry if you're crackling in the background. That is my dog. He has a stuffed chicken that crackles.
Oh.
He's
Oh.
he was napping up until now, and, apparently but anyway, but yeah, we should go to Japan, and also, I don't know, I feel like we should do, like, a grand cross-country tour of all these wonderful bakeries, and we should try each other's favorite selections.
That would be so fun if we did a road trip like that.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm sure that we could find a whole lot of bakeries along the way too. Like, there are a whole lot of other states that we have not even listed. This is These
Yes.
are just very small quarters of the US that we've mentioned, so I'm sure there are a whole lot of others out there.
Yeah. So, do you remember the year we went to Portland?
Yes, yes, I remember.
Did you get to try some of the voodoo donuts that I bought?
Yes. Oh my gosh, they were so good. I forgot you got those.
Yes, so if you haven't been to Portland, Voodoo Donuts is amazing. They have so many different varieties. They actually opened one in LA. So when I went to Universal Studios, right outside the gates, they had a Voodoo Donuts.
I think I've seen them also in the airport in Nashville.
Oh,
So I do think that they're in a couple different places. And I don't know if that's like a recent thing because I feel like I remember watching like a travel channel episode where they went into a Voodoo Donuts and it was, I forget where, but I thought it was somewhere in the South. I could be wrong. I don't know where their original location is. But yeah, they also have very, very good donuts.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I love how experimental they get with their flavors too. I think that's another thing that I really appreciate is whenever you can find a good bakery and they show that they have proper technique with whatever it is they're baking, but they also are creative and bold enough to kind of experiment with different flavors to see what works and what people might like. So I appreciate whenever bakeries are creative and they take a little bit of a risk.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like we've really learned what we enjoy from these local bakes and like what shows us that this is high quality and we've been able to verbalize that in this episode.
Yeah. I agree, and we'll probably have more to talk about high quality stuff eventually. That might be a whole other episode of
Mhm.
just what we consider to be high quality. But yeah, I think we've uncovered some really great bakes today. And you know what? There is always tomorrow, and I'm always excited for whatever new bakes we might end up finding. You never know. The next new bake that you find might be your favorite.
Yeah, yeah, maybe and share with us in the comments. We would love to hear from you and hear what you enjoy.
Yeah, let us know. And if there's a bakery that's in your hometown that you really enjoy, let the world know about it. Or if there's somewhere that you went that was halfway across the world and you really enjoyed it, we want to know about that too. There's always something new and delicious to be discovered.
Yes.
All
Awesome.
right.
Well, until next time.
Yeah, until next time, we will see you later. Thank you for joining. Please remember to subscribe if you have not already subscribed, or like. I don't know what you can do on here.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, share. We are on Spotify and YouTube, so if you have family or friends who like listening to bakes and cooking and just cozy kitchen talk, do share our channel. We're on
Yeah,
YouTube and Spotify.
join us in the kitchen. We are happy to have you at our table.
Yes.
Awesome. But yeah, we will see you guys in the next one.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this episode of Cozy Kitchen.
We're so glad you stopped by. We can't wait to see you the next time we sit by the fire. See you next time.
Next time.